Hey friends, it's Allie and welcome to another reading vlog. It's Friday and it's actually almost 8 o'clock. I waited until later to start this. My other vlog just went up this morning. I had some issues getting it posted, so it was a little later than I had expected it to go up, but it's up now. So I thought I'd talk about my plans for this weekend as far as reading goes. We don't have any plans to be doing anything this weekend except maybe taking the kids swimming depending on the weather. So I'm hoping that I can read the last 155 pages of this because that's all that I have left and I still have the audiobook. So I'd really like to knock this out. This is one of my buddy reads and I had to put it off for Summerween, so I'm wanting to pick this back up and finish it. And then I don't exactly have a whole lot of other plans other than that. I don't have another audiobook and I would really like to get another audiobook, maybe a middle grade, one of the ones that I've had just sitting and waiting on me for a while, see if I can find an audiobook for one of those because I'm just feeling something lighthearted. I do have 2 physical reads. I'm still reading What Moves the Dead. I would really like to finish this. It's not that long, but it's just a matter of having the downtime to physically read. It just really depends on that. And then also I'm still reading The Keeper of the Lost Cities, and I haven't made it any further on this one. I did put this down for Summerween, but I'm picking it back up now. Typically I try to get up early in the morning so that I can pick this one up and read while it's quiet in the house. So if that happens, then I should be able to knock out a pretty good dent of this. We'll just have to see how that goes. It always just depends on the time that I have free. That right now, that's the only plans that I have. I just have these 2 physical books. I do have one other buddy read. I think we're going to read 5 more chapters on the 9th reign. That's also a physical book. I don't have an audio for that one. I'm gonna go look on my shelves and see if I can find a middle grade that looks like something that I want to pick up right now, and see that if I can find the audio, and then I will get back with you guys because audio is the easiest way for me to read whenever I'm doing things around the house. So I'll go do that. I'll check back in after I figure out what I can find. So I'll see you guys shortly. Hello, readers. I am back. I went and did some perusing of my shelves, and I found A Tale Dark and Grim. This is by Adam Gidwitz. I've had this book on my shelf for a long time, and it's one that I've been wanting to read that I picked up ages ago. And it says that it's about Hansel and Gretel. They run away from their own story and go through 8 other scary fairy tales. And it doesn't really say what they're attempting to do or why they're running away, or I don't know where they're headed, but they leave their story and they run into 8 other fairy tales. This I did find the audio for from my library, so thankfully I can start this one on audio. I am going to read some of Gideon tonight. I would like to knock out a few chapters of that, and then I'm going to jump straight into this. I'm really excited about this one. I think I'm going to play some Stardew Valley and pick up my audiobooks now because Simon's asleep and everybody else is just chilling and playing video games. So I'm going to play some Stardew, listen to a little bit of Gideon, and then jump into this, and I will let you guys know how this is. This sounds really, really neat. And then also the cover is really cool. And I think this is a series now. When I bought it, it wasn't. But I think that it's a series of like 4 or 5 books. And I'm pretty interested to see if I like it. That'll be cool that now there's other books in the series and I can check those out too. But anyway, I have a coffee. I'm going to stay up late tonight and I will check back in before I crash, hopefully, and talk to you guys in a little while. I sat down to read, and I have a buddy. He went and picked out a whole stack of books so that he could read like Mama, because I have a whole stack of books with me. So that's precious.
Fire truck is toothsomely cruel. He waits for his victims and drinks down their fuel. What he does, man?
Hey guys, it is 10 o'clock on Saturday. I did a short little clip earlier, but I haven't actually checked in with you guys. To be honest, I've had anxiety all day, and I haven't done a whole lot of reading because I just haven't been able to focus on reading. But earlier, I did listen to a little bit of Gideon. I think I listened to a chapter of that. So I did read a little bit, but I'm feeling a little better now, and everybody is quiet, and, well, the boys are asleep, and Lily's not at home. So everything is very calm right now. I am going to pick up A Tale Dark and Grim, yeah, and read some of this, because I just kind of want something lighthearted right now. And then I was thinking about picking up Keeper of the Lost Cities because I was really into that whenever I put it down, and I haven't had a chance to pick it back up. And I'm really wanting to read more of that one because I'm very invested in the story. So I think I'll try to read like maybe 50 pages of this and then pick that up. And then I'll check back in with you guys. I'm going to try not to fall asleep. I ended up not checking in last night because it was, let's see, 11:30, and I was starting to doze off, and so I ended up just going to bed. But I did read some of Gideon last night, so I've read a few chapters of Gideon so far, and that's about it. So I really want to do some catching up and stay up. I've got a few hours tonight to do some reading, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to catch a little bit of free time to do some reading also. I will attempt to catch back up with you guys before I fall asleep tonight. I make no promises, but I will do my best. Check out these illustrations. They're very, I don't know, like, it makes me think of Tim Burton, but they're really awesome. Good morning, it's Sunday, and I am currently waiting to pick up the daughter from a sleepover. I have about 40 minutes before I have to be there. I wanted to check in with you guys. I didn't get to check back in last night. I dozed off, which is no surprise really. But I ended up being up quite a bit because my youngest son had a nosebleed during the night, and my daughter, who was at the sleepover, kept calling me. So I ended up not sleeping a whole lot. I slept in this morning, which is unusual, but I was tired. I did read around 80 pages of A Tale So Dark and Grim. Like, that's the name. I don't have the book with me currently, but I read about 80 pages. It's very interesting. The narrator breaks the fourth wall a lot and talks directly to the reader and tells you like how the original Grimm stories were, as opposed to how this story is going to be changed. And the story so far, it follows the Grimm fairy tales with Hansel and Gretel, and it starts like before they were born, and it goes through just their adventures of like what they do, because they end up like running away from home and stuff like that. And you know, I had never actually read the original story of Hansel and Gretel, and I'm pretty sure that the story that they told in the beginning was the actual story from the Grimm fairy tale collection. And if that's the case, it's brutal. And I know that Grimm fairy tales were brutal, or are brutal, but it was just a little shocking. And it's intriguing to me that the author is taking these stories and telling them to you in the bloodiest way possible, because that's how the originals were, but then also giving it his own twist. It's just really intriguing, and the narrator does a really good job with voices and just making it fun. So far, I'm really enjoying it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it is fun to read, and it's very intriguing because I had never actually read any of the stories of Hansel and Gretel, and apparently there are more than one. I mean, if the narrator is to be trusted, then there are multiple stories that follow Hansel and Gretel through their adventures of whatever they were doing. So I'm actually going to look into the original stories of Hansel and Gretel and see what that was about, because I'm kind of intrigued now. I'll be picking that back up in a little while, whenever I get back home most likely. I think I'm going to pick up some stuff from the house in a little while and go out to the park and sit and read for a while. But right now, I'm reading The Keeper of the Lost Cities. This is what I brought with me, and I'm going to sit here for the next 40 minutes and read some of this and just chill and try to stay awake. I picked up a Starbucks coffee. I don't usually drink these because of the milk in them, but I needed a boost, so I just grabbed one of these from the gas station earlier, and hopefully have a productive reading day and just a relaxing, quiet day. I think that's what I need, just to have a nice chill day. But anyway, I'm gonna go and read, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hi friends, I'm back. I am home again, and I was able to read around 30 pages in The Keeper of the Lost Cities. I didn't have a lot of time. Ended up having a little less time than I thought that I did, but I did read around 30 pages, possibly a little more. I didn't exactly count it, so it was close to 30 pages. Anyway, I checked in this because I wasn't exactly sure. It turns out I read 60 pages of this, not 80, but I'm about to pick this back up and read some more because it's intriguing, and I am going to do a little research before I start reading and find out about the original Grimm stories and see. I think that I actually have the Grimm collection in my room on my shelves. I'm pretty certain that I do. I'll have to check that and see if the original stories are in there and if there are any differences. I'm sure I could probably Google it too. That might be easier, but one way or another I'm gonna find out. I ended up not drinking the coffee that I got because it made my stomach upset, so I have my own coffee, which is pumpkin spice. It smells so good. And I have my Camp Crystal Lake cup, which I went and dug out of my Halloween decorations because I wanted a fall themed cup, or Halloween themed cup. Anyway, I'm going to sit here and try to read for a little bit. I'm going to turn on my audiobook with this because it makes it easier to focus. And I guess I might play a little Stardew or something like that. And I'll check in later with you guys. Hey guys, so I did a little bit of research online, which turned out very confusing results. So I just went and found my book on the shelf, which I absolutely adore this cover. It's gorgeous. It's leather bound. I was looking up all of the stories. Like, this book is broken up into chapter titles that are actually the stories from the Grimm fairy tales. Come to find out, all of the stories that I've read in this so far are actual stories that are from the original Grimm's fairy tales, and they are changed. So whenever it says that Hansel and Gretel are going from their own story into 8 other scary fairy tales, they are actually going through the Grimm fairy tales and taking the place of the main characters in those fairy tales, and basically the author has just kind of reworked the originals. These are very, very similar to the original stories. I do want to warn you guys, this book, if you want to read it, is kind of gruesome. There are some moments where I was like, dang, but it is gruesome in the way that the originals were gruesome, but the author does change up the way that they're written only slightly. They're not super changed up, they're not like drastic differences so far, but he does change small things and he kind of works it and makes it his own, which I think is really cool. So if you're curious, I did check into it, and I am going to keep checking in this as I read each story and see how different each one is, because I'm just kind of curious, and I'll keep you guys updated. But so far this is a really intriguing story and super fun to read, and I'm actually very curious now what the other books in the series are about, if it's the exact same thing where he just takes Grimm fairy tales and reworks them, because if so, that's super cool, and I want to look into reading the whole series now. But I'll check into that also and let you guys know. I will be back later. TTFN. Okay, I did a bit more delving, and I found out that there are 3 books in the series. I don't know if there are any more that are going to be written, but the second one follows Jack and Jill, and they apparently go into multiple different stories in the same way that Hansel and Gretel do. And then the third one doesn't say that it's about any specific characters. It just says that it's Cinderella and Rumpelstiltskin and another one that are reworked. I hadn't heard of the third one, but there might be more than that, but those are the only 3 that were mentioned that said that they had been revisited. So I guess it's going to be in the same manner as this one, where it's just twisted around into kind of a new story with the same feeling and the same kind of settings, which I think is pretty interesting. I will let you guys know when I've read more. Hello, I'm back, and I changed into some comfier clothes. I have read 100 pages of this. I'm now on like 156 or something. And I have read, let's see, there are 9 chapters in the book, and I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've read 6 of them. So the first chapter is called Faithful Johannes. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. And it actually, I've been comparing with my Grimm fairy tale stories. It is Faithful John of the Grimm fairy tales, and then Hansel and Gretel is Hansel and Gretel. The 7 swallows is actually the 7 ravens, and the brother and sister is actually little brother and little sister from the Grimm fairy tales. And then A Smile is Red as Blood is actually from a book called The Sisters Grimm, I believe, and it was translated stories from English fairy tales. I don't have that book, but I looked it up and saw that that's what it was from. Also, the next one is The 3 Golden Hairs, and it originates from the Brothers Grimm, and it is the devil with the 3 golden hairs. I have 3 chapters left that I haven't deciphered, but it said that it goes through 8 stories and there are 9 chapters. So I'm assuming that the last 3 chapters weave 2 of the stories together. I do want to let you guys know that this book, as I get further into it, is fairly gruesome. I'm actually shocked of the nature of this book, considering that it is middle grade and it is kind of gory. At one point, Hansel goes into hell. So like, just be aware if you read this book that it is a lot like the Grimm fairy tales. I think that it's really awesome because as I've gone back and actually read the originals, I see how the author took the original stories and just wound them all together to incorporate Hansel and Gretel, and it's just so well crafted. I'm constantly wanting to pick this back up and continue with it because I just want to know what is gonna happen next. It's like reading the old fairy tales. It has that same feeling, and then the narrator likes to butt in and give his 2 cents about what's going on, and it always makes me laugh out loud every time the narrator has something to say. I have found myself really, really enjoying this story. So I am going to take a break from reading. We are going to eat some dinner. We were grilling. And I am going to come back to this in a little bit. I have actually been so absorbed in this. I've been reading these 2 books together, basically, just kind of comparing them, and it has actually been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. So I am going to go eat, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to start listening to this on audio again and play some Stardew Valley, and then I'm probably going to pick up Keeper of the Lost Cities because I was really intrigued. It's gotten to the point in that book where she's in a school setting, and I'm just so fascinated. It's so reminiscent of reading Harry Potter from when I was a child, and I absolutely am enjoying the story. So I'm excited to go back to that story also because I want to know what's happening and like what's going on, because she is going into this school completely blind, the same way that Harry Potter is. And I just absolutely love that trope. I enjoy a school setting. I think after I finish The Keeper of the Lost Cities, I might actually pick up Nevermore because I've been told it's the same type of story but more magical, and I am okay with that also. So I'm gonna go eat, and then I will catch back up with you guys in a little while and let you know. I'm gonna try to finish this tonight since I only have 100 pages left of it, and then I will check back in. So I will talk to you guys later. We have hot dogs and kielbasa and what are yours? Brats?
Yeah, brat.
Well, kinda. And then vegetable skewers and corn in there, and I am so excited. We also made some rice to go with all of this. It's going to be so good. since we just got this grill yesterday. Don't touch it, it's hot. You see the food? Grill Master 101. And somebody looks like they are about to fall asleep. Hey, are you awake? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go!
No, it's a tumble-do, not a dance. Tumble-do. I was doing.
He looks so confused.
Go! 1, go! Eleanor, stop eating grass.
That was so close. They nearly hit each other.
Light me up that cigarette and I'll strap shoes on an old pirate ship. Legend has it that this pirate ship once sailed the waters of Adventure Bay with a ghost crew, Captain Turbot says.
Hey friends, so it is actually Tuesday. I forgot to wrap up this vlog yesterday, so I'm doing a quick end clip now. I ended up reading like 287 pages over the weekend, which is not great, I will admit, but I didn't actually count the stories that I read in this as pages that I had read, and I did read all 8 of the stories that I thought corresponded with A Tale Dark and Grim. I did read the entirety of this, and I believe that the last 3 stories revolved around the devil and his grandmother and the 2 brothers. Those both have to do with a dragon and like shape-shifting and like trying to defeat a dragon, and that's what the last 3 chapters of this were about. So if I had to guess, I would say that those were the 2 stories that correspond with the last 3 chapters of this book. So I was able to read all of this, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. It is a lot darker than I thought that it was going to be. It is very gory. It reads like a classic fairy tale with interjections from the narrator that are very humorous because, you know, the narrator breaks the 4th wall and just makes a lot of jokes. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it because it kind of breaks up the fact that it is a bit darker. So just be aware of that if you do end up reading this. It is surprisingly more gory than I expected it to be. But if we're being honest, a lot of the old classic fairy tales were way more gory than the ones that we know today. So there is that. Also, I did read like 2 chapters of this. It was like 26 pages or something. And I read a little bit of Gideon over the weekend. That one takes a lot more concentration because it's a bit more of like a deep book. Like you have to like really pay attention because of the details of the book. So I can't read that one a lot whenever there's a lot going on or listen to the audio because I really have to focus on what's happening in that book. So I'm really hoping in the next couple days that I'm going to knock out the rest of that book. She and I, my friend and I, have been talking about just trying to get caught up on that one book. So we're going to hopefully do that in the days to come. And I think this next vlog is probably going to be a horror themed reading vlog because I'm just kind of feeling like reading some horror. So over the rest of this week, I'm going to try to knock out some of the books that I've just had pending for a little while. And if I do, I might chat about them with you guys on Friday. But I am currently picking out the horror books that I'm planning on reading this weekend, and I'm really excited about it. I guess I'm just going to extend Summerween through the beginning of August. So hey, that works for me. I am wearing my Halloween shirt, and I just got new leggings today, which I thought were adorable. They're like pumpkins, but like Christmas lights. They make me really happy, and so, you know, all the fall vibes. That is all from me today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next vlog.